is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 1 to 6. Some men came from Judea to Antioch and started teaching the believers, "You cannot be saved unless you are circumcised as the law of Moses requires." Paul and Barnabas got into a fierce argument with them about this. So it was decided that Paul and Barnabas and some of the others in Antioch should go to Jerusalem and see the apostles and elders about this matter. They were sent on their way by the church, and as they went through Phoenicia and Samaria, they reported how the Gentiles had turned to God. This news brought great joy to all the believers. When they arrived in Jerusalem, they were welcomed by the church, the apostles, and the elders, to whom they told all that God had done through them. But some of the believers, who belonged to the party of the Pharisees, stood up and said, "The Gentiles must be circumcised and told to obey the law of Moses." The apostles and the elders met together to consider this question. The word of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters and my dear children, as the pruning the vine brings a new life to the tree, we need to be pruned. The spiritual pruning means to blossom or to bloom in new life. Reflecting on this, let's read the day's Gospel. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John. I am the real vine, and my Father is the gardener. He breaks off every branch in me that does not bear fruit. He prunes every branch that does not bear fruit, so that it will be clean and bear more fruit. You have been made clean already by the teaching I have given you. Remain united to me, and I will remain united to you. A branch cannot bear fruit by itself. It cannot do so only if it remains in the vine. In the same way, you cannot bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will bear much fruit, for you can do nothing without me. Those who do not remain in me are thrown out like a branch and dry up. Such branches are gathered up and thrown into the fire, where they are burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, then you will ask for anything you wish, and you shall have it. My Father's glory is shown by your bearing much fruit, and in this way you become my disciples. This is the gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters, well, people know how to prune roses and the other trees that need pruning. It's the pruning that brings new life to the trees, or to the flowers even, to the flower plants. So in the same way, Jesus speaks of our being united to the vine branch, united to Him and to God. And even in our spiritual life, that we need some sort of pruning, because to make our lives more fruitful, and to make our lives always new. In lives, we may also need certain things to be cut off, to shed. And more than we, all of us, more than we, God Himself knows the best. He knows what He should do to our own lives. We have to let go certain things in order to grow spiritually, my dear brothers and sisters. Well, the very meaning of doing a recollection or a retreat is to prune our lives, to prune our bad thoughts, to prune our bad deeds, to prune our bad practices, to prune our bad thinking patterns that we are accustomed to at certain times. Don't we think that we need those? Well, for us to have a kind of a beautiful hair, we need to cut our hair, we need to cut our beard, we need to cut our mustache, so that it gives a kind of a bright, a shiny face. In the same way, our inner being needs to be pruned, dear brothers and sisters. We need to be pruned our own. But who will do it? It's only possible with God. Sometimes we are not aware of what we should do to our own lives. He will do it for us because we are united to Him. It's as the branches, or the branches cannot be separated from the main core of the tree. It has to be fixed to the main tree. In the same way, we are united to God, and God looks at us as someone who is with Him and who is in Him, so He prunes us. The Lord who makes His home in us will sustain us, will make our lives more fruitful. For that to happen, we need to remain in Him. We need to be in communion with Him. So, dear brothers and sisters, by our own prayers and reflections and meditations, let us be united to God Himself. Thank you, and God bless you.
Sri Wachanayano